And we are following breaking news here on CBS Sports HQ. A big blow to the Dodgers starting rotation. Dustin May now officially out for this season. He will have to undergo Tommy John surgery on May 11th. The team confirming this. Now, this all happened because May left Saturday start against the Brewers in just the second inning after tossing a fastball there. You saw he was in visible pain, called for help. May has had 5 starts so far this season, a sub-3 ERA, 35 strikeouts in 23 innings pitched. Let's welcome in our MLB insider Jim Bowden to talk about this. This is the last news the Dodgers wanted to hear when they knew he had to go get an MRI, and this is pretty much the worst news they could have gotten.
It certainly was. I talked to the Dodgers front office about an hour ago. He had the MRI done in Chicago, and it showed a clear tear of the ulnar collateral ligament in his right elbow, unfortunately. So he's going to have to undergo Tommy John surgery. That means he misses the rest of this season and most of next season as well. And what's devastating is the fact that Dustin May was developing into a #1 type starter. He was developing into an ace. He was making really great progress, especially the last couple of starts. So it's a big setback for them. But remember this, the Dodgers built this team to be prepared for injuries. They're very deep in terms of rotation, but they're also dealing with more injuries to pitchers than any of the 30 teams in Major League Baseball. You would think David Price would be the next guy up, but he's on the injured list because of a hamstring injury. He's going to be out several weeks. So Tony Gonsolin is going to be the guy that they're going to stretch out, and eventually he'll be the 5th starter in a rotation that's led by Kershaw, Buehler, Bauer, and Urias. And to be quite frank, Gonsolin has a chance to be an impact starter as well with nasty stuff. So the Dodgers are the one team that could handle the type of injuries that they're going through, but it's awful devastating when you lose one of your top young pitchers that has a chance to be an ace someday, and now you've lost him not just for this year, but probably most of next year.
Jim, why do you think we're seeing these injuries? You know, I was texting with our good friend Will Middlebrooks, and he seems to be of the opinion it's teams really looking at velocity and movement over longevity. Do you agree with that?
I think that's part of the equation, part of the pie, but I do have to tell you that I think for a lot of these pitchers last year and what the events of the pandemic and the residue of that is what we're seeing now. I mean, you had pitchers that started up in March. Then you had pitchers that started up again in June, some in July. All of them started up different ways. Then you had a 2-month season, and then you got shut down. And now you've opened up again, and you're pitching in months that you didn't pitch a year ago. I think that is factored into it. The fact that we all care about strikeouts as a pitcher more than anything else, and everyone is just throwing at full velocity, I think that plays into it. But, you know, we're seeing more injuries this first month than I can remember in a long time, especially because of pitchers. And I think a lot of the factors have to do with the truncated season of a year ago because of the pandemic. And then, yes, I think a lot has to do with because we have so much emphasis on velocity. Dustin May is one of those guys that hit triple digits on a regular basis and power arms. And, you know, that's a lot of tear on the elbow.
All right, so the next guy's up, Tony Gonsolin, which you said will actually come back before David Price. Talk to us about this rotation moving forward for the rest of the season. If you're a Dodgers fan, you're thinking, I'm a little nervous here, but it's going to be okay.
It's still the best rotation in baseball, even with Dustin May out with Tommy John surgery. I know that's hard to believe, but you've got 3 Cy Young candidates in Trevor Bauer, who won it last year, Clayton Kershaw, Walker Buehler, Julio Urias, who is now developing into a top of the rotation guy, and Gonsolin. I'll be honest with you. I think there were a lot of people in the Dodger organization that thought Gonsolin would be the 5th starter over Dustin May based on what they saw last year. And I think once he gets stretched out, you're going to find that he's going to be a guy that can win double digits with an ERA in the 3s. So the Dodgers are in pretty good shape, at least initially here. But this is going to take a big dent into the rotation because how many injuries can you overcome? We talked about David Price being out several weeks with a hamstring. The next guy up after that would be Jimmy Nelson. And of course, he's had mixed results in the regular season, pitched great in the spring. You do have a young rookie in the minor leagues named Josiah Gray that is also on the list coming up. But you just hate to see a young pitcher of this much talent go down, and not just for this year, but for next year as well.
If you are a Padres fan and you're listening to this, you don't ever want to hear anybody hurt. It is some of the best baseball we have seen so far this season. So entertaining for the Padres. Does this look like they can overtake the Dodgers here in the next couple of weeks?
Well, I don't think there's any question when you look at all of the injuries to the Dodgers and to the pitching staff, and especially the bullpen. I mean, I think losing Corey Knebel was a lot bigger than people think. Gratterall going down, Kelly going down, and then Kenley Jansen, who's been great and then not so great. There are some questions there, and I think the amount of injuries that are now totaling up for the Dodgers, they're playing without Cody Bellinger. I think all of this is bringing this division a lot closer than we thought it was going to be on opening day. So I think for the Padres fans, unfortunately because of injuries for the Dodger fans, I think this race became a lot closer because of all these Dodgers that are going down to injuries.
All right, hopefully they can get healthy and soon. Jim Bowden, thanks so much for hopping on with us here on HQ to talk about this breaking news. Again, Dustin May out for the season, getting now Tommy John surgery. However, the Dodgers are still the favorite to repeat to win the World Series at plus 325.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.